Up that road, even at that hill, with no problems. I'm not Caleb Bune and welcome back to another Tour de France preview. Today we're going to be doing stages 4, 5 and 6. And the reason I opened this with Kate Bush is running up that hill is because we are running up that hill. So after the chaos of the first 3 stages, yes, I'm recording this on stage 2, so I have no idea how stage 3 has gone down. We have 4 difficult stages, starting with stage 4, from Sisteron to Oceana Molet. It's 160 kilometers long, and this is where the race finally begins. Properly and in full flow, because we have a proper mountain stage on stage 4. It's the earliest we've seen a mountain stage in this race for probably about 30 years. This is going to be a Vuelta style finish, no less. So what is on the agenda, I hear you ask? Well, it's an undulating run-in. We have a couple categorized climbs beforehand, up until we get to the final bit of the race, where we head towards the finish of Oceana Molet. This is where there was a time trial back in 1989. It's the one we all know for being decided by 8 solitary seconds. However, this is 2020, so I don't know why I'm talking about 1989. Oceana Molet is 1,800 meters above sea level. It is 7 kilometers at a 6.7% average. It's categorized at category 1 and it features 8 hairpins. This will be the first proper mountaintop sort out, as I mentioned. And who are the favorites? What are my predictions? Well, this is going to be a tough old day, and I'm sure we're going to see Jumbo-Visma attempt to grind down the peloton. We've seen George Bennett struggle already at this race, but they still have Roglic and Tom Dumoulin. This is a perfect finish for Roglic. We saw at the Tour de l'Ain and also at the Critérium du Dauphiné that he can win on these sort of smaller, less challenging mountaintop finishes. However, I'm saying Roglic even though there is a possibility that it might not be hard enough for the likes of Roglic and Bernal and Thibaut Pinot, the injured Thibaut Pinot, to show themselves this early on in the race. It might end up being a more wide open battle. Other riders, such as Julian Alaphilippe and Rigoberto Urán and potentially Sergio Higuita, try to challenge for the stage win. Okay, stage 5 from Gap, a Tour de France favourite, to Privaz. We head through the Drôme and the Ardèche regions, and it is going to be a flat day probably, but there are some difficult Cap 4 climbs. There's one 16k from the line. We might see Caleb Ewan and Sam Bennett struggle. They struggled on the first stage of this race. So we don't know how it's going to go, and the finish line is also on a false flat, which also puts things into the air. With that all being said, the run-in is actually quite simple. There are some sweeping turns, but it's nothing too challenging, so it should end up being an attritional bunch sprint. In terms of the favourites, I am going to have to say that Alexander Kristoff and Mads Payson, who looked very good in the first stage of this race, have to start as one of the favourites. Don't put it past the likes of Van Aert and Sagan as well to hold on. With that climb, we don't know. We haven't really seen a hillier sprint at this race yet, so this could be a good precursor to what we will see in the second week of racing. Moving on to stage 6, from Lufthay to Monte Carlo. And I hate saying Lufthay because it's not a nice word to pronounce. It's 190 kilometers long, and we're going to the Monte Carlo finish, and we're ending up on the observatory finish at Monte Carlo. The climb is very Vuelta-like. It's pretty barren, pretty stark, and also it's not particularly hairpinny, so we will see the kind of narrow, winding, arid roads. We expected Tour de France to be all about hairpins and ski towns, but Monte Carlo is very different with the observatory on top, and also it not being in the Alps or the Pyrenees, which is a refreshing change for this race. Girale is not the most difficult. I think we have to look towards the Col de la Luzette, which comes before Monte Carlo, as the place to sort out everyone out. Monte Carlo itself is 8 kilometers at 4%, and the finish is at 1,560 meters above sea level. It's going to be the second summit finish of this race, and it could be one that's a little bit more tiring because they've had more days racing in their legs. The favourites will be very similar to stage 4. That was the stage up to Oceana Molet, if you forgot. I'd love to see the likes of Thibaut Pinot, Roglic and Bernal duke it out at the top, but we could actually see a breakaway at this point in the race. And if we're looking towards breakaways, I'm gonna suggest someone from AG2R La Mondiale, or CCC team to take the stage win. This climb also provides the opportunity for some long distance attacks. The Col de la Luzette is a perfect platform for riders looking to get an early jump on their competitors. In that case, I'd love to see the EF guys, as I mentioned earlier, or maybe Arkea Samsic do some damage on the Col de la Luzette. I'm sure we will get a more defensive strategy from some riders, because going aggressive and offensive this early on in the race could prove to backfire. Anyway, that's everything from this set of previews of stage 4, 5 and 6.
Remember to tune into the Cycling Day channel
for live streams of the Tour de France for your alternate commentary all the way through the Tour de France. And guys, I'm still not Caleb Ewan. I'm still not. It's hard, but that's everything from today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you around.